In the dead of night on a desolate border, amid the screams and chaos of an unexpected bombing that left shattered dreams and blood-stained streets, the stage was set for a conflict that has haunted humanity for decades. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Whispers of Time channel. Before we start, I hope you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you receive all the new content, and also share the story with your friends so it reaches as many people as possible. And if you have a story, write it in the comments. Maybe we'll choose one to narrate in the next video. Let's start the story. Pay attention, because there's a small detail that might change your entire perspective and awareness of life. For as long as history can remember, human conflicts have been fueled by a relentless desire for expansion and control. Nations driven by ambition often clash with their neighbors in a desperate bid to extend their influence. One of the most infamous examples of this is the never-ending conflict between India and Pakistan, a battle rooted in history, religion, politics, and, of course, geography. Imagine this. Two nations, both in possession of nuclear weapons, forced to rely on intelligence, since direct warfare was unthinkable. Let me ask you, when the odds seem insurmountable, what do you think should a leader do? When we talk about India and Pakistan, we're discussing countries that house some of the most powerful intelligence agencies in all of Asia. If you haven't seen that video on Pakistan's ISI intelligence force, where we break down their might, I'm leaving it in the description right up top. But stick with me, because today, we're diving into the age-old rivalry. Whose intelligence is really superior, the Pakistani ISI or the Indian RAW? Research and Analysis Wing. Let's rewind the clock to the 1940s. In August 1947, both India and Pakistan proclaimed their independence from Great Britain. India, home predominantly to Hindus, and Pakistan, envisioned as the homeland for Muslims, emerged from the British Raj. Unfortunately, independence did not usher in peace. Tensions flared immediately as the two giants clashed not just over territory, but over deeply embedded ideological differences. Pioneered by the polarizing leaders Jawaharlal Nehru and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, after British intervention attempted to settle the dispute, the subcontinent was divided. Regions with a Hindu majority formed India, while areas with a Muslim majority split off as Pakistan, including an eastern segment that was separated by nearly 2,000 kilometers of Indian terrain. And so began the bloody civil strife in India, a turbulent period marked by riots, violence, and the loss of 1 million lives. Ever wonder, in the midst of such overwhelming chaos, what the cost of ambition truly is? A major flashpoint in this prolonged struggle was the Kashmir region, nestled by the towering Himalayas. Despite its predominantly Muslim population, India sought to incorporate Kashmir into its fold, sparking the first of several wars in 1947. The agreement during partition allowed Kashmir the freedom to choose its destiny, and its ruler, Hari Singh, chose to join India, igniting a conflict that would last 2 years until a ceasefire was declared in 1949. On the surface, India had achieved victory, but that triumph came with a deep and dangerous cost. As India celebrated what appeared to be a military win in 1949, an unsettling reality emerged. While the nation believed it had safeguarded its future, it had inadvertently sown the seeds of its own undoing. Pakistan refused to swallow the bitter pill of defeat, determined to exact revenge, and with the backing of Britain, which, weakened by World War II and unable to contain the resilient spirit of India led by Nehru, Pakistan began developing its intelligence capabilities. Out of this strategic necessity, Britain helped establish the ISI, training and financing it in the latest British methods to serve as a robust intelligence base in South Asia, replete with advanced military operations and networks of 100,000 agents, including 384 prominent British operatives. Realizing that India held numerical and conventional military advantages, Pakistan decided to level the playing field by leaning on its covert operations. Over the following decades, the ISI orchestrated a series of calculated moves, funding jihadist movements, arming insurgents, and setting up militias that destabilized large parts of India. In the 1950s, ISI-backed insurgents stirred up rebellion in northeastern India, raising questions as to how far can a nation push its limits before its own integrity is compromised. And then in southern India, in Kerala, covert groups were formed to heighten tensions, diverting attention from the incessant conflict over Kashmir. Even in Western India, the ISI's strategy was relentless. They backed Sikh militants demanding an independent Khalistan and exerted influence even in India's heartland during the 1960s by funding local gangs and notorious figures like Haji Mastan and Shoot Shakil. In the 1970s, the Pakistani ISI sponsored one of Mumbai's most notorious gang leaders, Chota Rajan, whose actions ignited a series of gang wars with Indian police. How do you feel knowing that behind every major political uprising, shadowy operatives influence events from behind the scenes? Realizing the gravity of the threat, India could not remain passive. In 1968, in response to the ISI's aggressive clandestine campaigns, India established its very own intelligence apparatus, the RAW, which operated on models inherited from British colonial practices. RAW's mission was to gather intelligence on subversive groups and counteract the ISI's extensive network, ensuring that India could defend itself not only on the battleground but also in the realm of covert operations. RAW's first major mission came in 1971, following the crumbling of political order in Pakistan. That year, as Pakistan conducted general elections amidst turmoil in its eastern wing, conflict erupted. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, a prominent political figure from East Pakistan, faced arrest orders from President Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, which incited violent outbreaks. Amid these events, RAW intercepted secret signals suggesting imminent chaos in East Bengal. Seizing the opportunity, India executed one of its smartest counterintelligence operations. On January 30, 1971, they orchestrated a daring hijacking of an Indian aircraft by two rebellious operatives, the Qureshi brothers. After a tense, staged negotiation with Indian authorities, the plane was deliberately destroyed in a controlled explosion. This move not only foiled the Pakistani military's ambition to cross into Bangladeshi territory, but also ensured that India's borders remained intact. The results were stunning. Pakistan's inability to assert control over its eastern wing led to the declaration of independence by East Pakistan as Bangladesh. By eliminating its eastern adversary, India managed to confine the conflict to its western borders. Yet this was only one chapter in a saga marked by numerous military and covert engagements. In 1999, history repeated itself when India once again triumphed over Pakistan in a ground war. Alongside conventional battles, a series of covert operations, including acts of espionage, assassinations, and counterattacks, further deepened the rivalry. For every assassination attempt planned by the Pakistani ISI, RAW retaliated in kind. On August 17, 1988, the mysterious crash that killed Pakistan's then-leader Muhammad Dia-ul-Haq, who had supported Afghan militants against both India and the Soviet Union, was later revealed to be a well-orchestrated act by RAW. This act of retribution was designed to signal that India would not be cowed by covert operations alone. This event not only marked a pivotal turn in the India-Pakistan rivalry, but also demonstrated the lethal capabilities of intelligence warfare. The conflict continued with harrowing events. In 1993, the Pakistani intelligence, in a bid to cripple India's economic infrastructure, staged devastating bombings across Mumbai on March 12, leading to the deaths of 250 individuals and injuring 200 more. This devastating attack, masterminded by the infamous gang leader Dawood Ibrahim in collaboration with ISI operatives, was repeated in 2008 with further terror strikes that claimed 164 lives, including 28 foreigners. These events were underscored by admissions from figures like American terrorist David Headley, who collaborated with military groups to execute the Mumbai assault. RAW had received multiple warnings about these looming threats, yet the cascade of bombings demonstrated that not all warnings could defuse a meticulously planned covert strike. Even as RAW ramped up training, sending hundreds of its operatives to receive instruction from American intelligence experts, the conflict simmered. India not only maintained a tight surveillance on its own Muslim population, but also covertly spied on Pakistan. Up to this day, the Cold War between India and Pakistan continues with backdoor espionage, arrests, assassinations, and even cyber attacks, which have surged in recent years following breaches of key governmental sites. All of these secret maneuvers and tactical strikes underscore a rivalry that seems destined to persist as long as Kashmir remains a disputed territory, regional influence is contested, and political and religious tensions fuel ongoing cold-blooded intelligence warfare. And now, let's consider a modern twist. With rapid advancements in technology, especially artificial intelligence, do you think the power balance in covert operations and cyber attacks will tilt further, possibly igniting a dangerous digital war that could cripple both economies? Moreover, could this relentless Cold War eventually escalate into an all-out nuclear confrontation? Or will the world find a way to quell these conflicts before it's too late? If you ask me, it seems that the world's capacity to resolve such conflicts remains doubtful. Consider the continuous strife in Palestine as a poignant reminder that while the world is adept at igniting conflicts, uniting against them remains a monumental challenge. And with that, we have reached the end of the story. But stories don't end here. If you like the story, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you receive all the new content. And if you have an opinion or something that caught your attention, leave a comment and let's discuss together. I'm waiting for your opinions and see you in the next story. Bye.